So we've got plenty of unanswered questions. How did it come down to this? How did Israel not see this coming? Who is at fault here? We say it is an intelligence failure. Mossad was blindsided by Hamas. But another big question is, what was the Central Intelligence Agency doing? Was the US intelligence also napping? It's supposed to work in close tandem with Israeli intelligence. US officials have said that if the Israelis knew that an attack was imminent, they did not share it with Washington. One senior US military official said that the CIA was not tracking this. But is it really that simple? There were attacks from air, land, from sea. More than 5,000 rockets were fired. So can the CIA just shrug off an assault of this level, of this magnitude? Can it afford to make such statements? Let me explain. When it comes to Russia, the CIA is doing everything it can to take down the Wagner group, it says. At least that's what it's claiming. It has fought the likes of ISIS, Lashkar-e-Toiba, Al-Qaeda. But a terror group like Hamas caught the US intelligence off guard. How can that possibly be justified? US officials are adamant. They have outright refused to label the attack as an intel failure. In fact, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that no one saw the violence coming. I repeat, he says no one saw the violence coming. But wasn't it the CIA's job to know what was coming? What happened to America's satellite data? American leaders are currently saving face, saying that there will be enough time to investigate. But won't that be too little too late? What about the lives lost? What about the pain and suffering of thousands? If the US and Israeli intelligence had done their jobs, the mayhem, the destruction, the irreparable loss could have been prevented. In fact, last night on Gravitas, I spoke to Friedrich H. Fleitz from Washington, D.C. He is a CIA analyst, and listen to what he had to say.
I think that's the question everyone's asking right now. Obviously, American intelligence did not see it coming, but Israeli intelligence, the Mossad, has one of the best capabilities in the world, human sources in Gaza, electronic surveillance, and somehow Hamas was able to evade Israeli and American intelligence. And I think the way it did that was not just an understanding of the capabilities of these intelligence agencies, but Hamas had a great deal of help. I think the Iranians were working very closely with Hamas to plan for this operation and to also to teach Hamas operational security so preparations for this vicious attack would not be detected.
For some time now, the US has been employing a cautious diplomacy with Iran, the same Iran which has openly supported and armed Hamas. Even in the middle of a crisis, the US government sent some $43 million to the Islamic Republic. Iran has denied any involvement in the mutiny that has unfolded in Israel. And the United States is supporting the Iranian view. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that there is no indication of Iran's direct involvement, but that is not what the Hamas spokesperson has claimed. As per reports, Ghazi Hamad has said that Iran supported Hamas in launching its attack. So why is the US claiming otherwise? The vicious Hamas attack was Israel's 9/11. That's what the people of Israel say. Not simply because of chaos that has unfolded thereafter, but also in the blindness that preceded it. Americans never imagined that Al-Qaeda would fly airplanes into its buildings. Similarly, the US and Israeli intelligence couldn't predict that Hamas fighters could escape the barricaded compound of Gaza with paragliders. Did they underestimate their foe? Were they so blinded by the Abraham Accords that they couldn't see what was actually happening on the streets? Intelligence failures usually begin with overconfidence. They don't simply result from a lack of information, but also an inability to understand it. Both the United States and Israel knew about the hatred of Hamas, and yet they could not anticipate what was lurking in the shadows. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.